Thanks everybody for coming back. We were kind of taking back some 30-minute break and send you off to the casino or someplace else in the pool. So thanks for coming back. Really want to make this valuable for you, both personally and professionally. So we'll tell a little bit about how we got here, but then want to get rolling and have you be able to do this with us. It's going to be a little bit interactive. We're not going to be swinging on trapezes or anything, but we'll have some fun, have some good conversations as we go.
They may have to hug each other.
At the end.
That still didn't.
It's a little hectic. Here's what we want to cause today and provide for you is that you have a real understanding of the role that relationships play, especially in the world of complexity. We were able to sit over here while we listened to the panel and talk about complexity. Think about how technology alone has so many different layers and how many ways you have to integrate with patients and providers and what do physicians think and how do you have this form match with this clinic over here. And you just see just from that beginning standpoint, complexity is a key piece just in that one layer. Build skills in using human-centered practices that directly improve communication between individuals and teams. We want you to leave here today with 2 or 3 things that you can actually use walking out the door. And we want them to be valuable enough that you can use them in your office and you can use them in your living room. So that's one of our goals as well today. And then learn how to name and address inevitable conflict in a manner that supports individuals and builds a workplace culture. So as Jeremy mentioned, we got kind of the start of BoldLeaders was in a conflict resolution setting. We did a lot of work with conflicting groups in Cyprus as well, and then in marginalized communities all throughout the world. And the thing that got us to this point is that we've been able to spend the last 20 years tinkering with working with people and working with groups, especially groups that are maybe in different places. Sometimes in conflict, but sometimes just in different socioeconomic platforms, different religious beliefs, different places in their lives, age-wise, education-wise. And really thinking about how do we find ways to mesh those communities together, because communities really only work when people are in relationship with each other, when they have the willingness to reach out beyond their comfort zone, when they have an interest in expanding their networks. So we, in that 20 years of tinkering, we were able to develop a few things. We use them a lot in schools, we use them a lot with mentoring organizations, we do a lot of teacher work, and then we've now been doing it a lot in the workplace and finding that it works, it fits really well. Because at the heart of things, and as you see our title of our presentation of interacting and working with the elephant in the room, we could go through a litany of all the things that you would say is the elephant in the room, whether it's impending legislation or people who don't pay or physicians that are in disagreement with your policy or however it works. You might come up with all kinds of elephants in the room, and we're going to challenge you to think that the elephant that's really in the room, at the heart of it all, is relationships. And that the work that we're going to offer to you and have you consider just kind of shifts that context, that really underneath it all is that elephant is really relationships, and it's one that we don't often talk about. We know it's there, but we don't spend as much time as maybe we should. So that's where we're going to go. Please jump in.
You used the word tinkering.
Unmute yourself.
Can you hear me okay? You can hear me okay, right? I don't need this. I hate these things. So, unless they're recorded.
You better go for it. I'm saying.
I mean, this is me. Okay. Sounds good. Just my point. With it?
This sounds okay for you.
Good. That's good. That's good.
It's all right with that. Okay. It's hard on me, but that's okay because it's all about relationships. So Brady talked about tinkering, and I want to use the word practitioners so you kind of understand the difference. We're not theorists, though we've developed some theory. But what we are is actually, in that world of tinkering, become practitioners of the very things that people taught us in working with them. So we've thrown out a lot of things and tried a lot of different things. But the title up there, well, can you go, well, okay. Okay, here's one of the elephants in the room. And we actually got to think about it. How long we've been doing this. We actually got to deal with this over time. We actually saw it coming, and then we dealt with it, and then we started to try some other things with it. So in the world of relationships, see this thing? If you could put it down for just the next 30 minutes, if you could just put it down, and I'm as guilty as anyone. During the last session, I sat over there and I actually opened my computer for a little while and faked it. I faked it while they were up there doing the technology. I figure if they're talking about technology, I can flip open my laptop and I can sit there with my laptop open and they're sitting up there with, okay, he's on his laptop. This is technology. Okay, we're talking about relationships now. And one of the craziest things about technology is its impact on our relationships. So we're the other side of complexity. See, I just make these things mad and they get you mad. So on the other side of the complexity, my request of you is to take your mobile phone or your laptops, close your laptops, put your mobile phones away for a little bit, because and hopefully you're sitting with someone at a table, because we'll actually ask some questions of you, because you're going to teach us, and then you're actually probably going to talk to each other. But if you accept my request of putting your phone down, just throw your hand up in the air. And it's a real request, so you can say no, and just if you say no, just keep your hand down, and that's great too. And if you want to make a counteroffer, for sure, anybody in the world of negotiations knows that only 3 things can happen when another human being makes a request of another human being, and that is yes, no, or make a counteroffer. So does anybody have a counteroffer? How many accept my request? Anybody decline my request? Okay, great. Thank you very much. All right, now that's all straight. Okay, here we go.
All right, thanks very much. So this is what we're aiming for, and I want to check in and make sure if that works for you. If you see anything missing, this is certainly an opportunity to ask questions throughout this whole time. If you've got some other things you're looking for, you want to challenge our assumptions, please feel free. This is not the truth. This is our perspective on how some things work that we've seen happen within different places in the world. So, sound okay? Those are our targets? All good for everybody? Okay. We asked the question in talking with Ken to kind of develop, okay, what is it going to be valuable here for everybody? And this is what we came up with. What are a few practices that would support teams working in highly complex environments? You're all part of that, highly complex environments that are broadly applicable, do not require intense training, and would simultaneously strengthen human relationships. So if we could latch on to a few of those, what would they be? And could they be broad enough that you could use them if you're just working, you and yourself, in your own office? Or could they be something that you could even use in training others, or just working within other groups? And so to help us to kind of understand just where you're coming from, how many of you in here, you work and supervise at least one other person? Okay, at least 3 other people. 5, at least 5 other people. Okay, how many of you supervise multiple teams, more than one team? Okay, excellent. How many of you, you are often involved in coaching relationships as well as management relationships with people? Okay, fantastic. So, anybody that's not supervised, like you're a numbers person, you don't supervise anybody, and you just want to be really proud of that? Awesome. Everybody going. This is still going to work for you because we want it to be really personal value as well. So we'll make sure that.
It can actually work not only home, office, whatever. I mean, you know. Internally, absolutely. I mean, just, you know, I don't supervise anyone. I'm hunkered down with my computer. I mean, there's a relationship right there. You know, I spend all my time with numbers. There's a relationship.
So here's what we want to kind of tell the truth about what we think you might be thinking. Okay? Will this be worth my time? So first off, thanks for coming back. Check to see if it's worth your time. You could ask them different versions, different subcontexts.
So look, he's going really fast. I'm going to stop him. He's going really fast. In the world of relationships, we, for the most part, walk around with, we spend a great deal of time thinking about what we think other people are thinking.
Who's guilty?
We spend a great deal of time walking around thinking about what we think other people are thinking. And then if we're really obsessive, we throw on this other piece. I spend a great deal of time thinking about what I think other people are thinking about me. How many of you are like guilty of that? Okay, so we're in the world of folk psychology. There's which is a technical term. There's an assumptive. There's an assumptive walking into a room. So we like to sit around and think, okay, who are we going to be meeting with? What are we going to be talking about? And what could they possibly be thinking? That we just want to throw up there for them and see. Like, we actually thought about it for a while. So
You'd want to think, how is that a practice of relationship? Like even us doing that, introducing a tool to you that we won't necessarily call a tool, but have you ever benefited from walking into a room, but before you walked into the room, you had the thought, I wonder what's going on with that person that's in that room. I wonder what it is they're anticipating is coming up. I wonder what it is they're thinking. And then you're in the room and you know that that's helped you out. Has anybody benefited from that? Has anybody just charged into a room without doing that and you paid the price? You had that experience? Yeah. So in us never having had time with you, we want to tell the truth about some things that may be present for you as a way to help us build a relationship with you too. So you could have a couple different subcontexts to that conversation about, will this one be worth my time? Like, God, I hope this will be worth my time. Or could it possibly work for me? Been here, done this. You guys are certainly capable human beings who have been around the block several times and maybe been to several of these kinds of things where people come in and do trainings with you. So we want to acknowledge that you may have that thought. Like, I've heard this all the time. I've already read all those books that they mentioned. We know that can be true for you. It could be.
In my experience, if I go into a very high-end money-making machine organization,